recording. So, Robert, this is what I wanted to talk about today. I feel like 50-50 men are really toxic, and nobody in our community wants to talk about how toxic they are, because once people get to our level in life where we're having abundance, where we're all about positivity and, good mindset, and we're, all deep into having healthy relationships, at the end of the day, there's still new young men who are being raised in the Black community, and they're being told that, what, they're calling women bitches, they're calling women hoes, they're calling women gold diggers, they're telling a woman that she needs to bend over backwards and do A, B, C, D, and E, and that she better not expect him to provide for her, take care of her, but they're willing to have sex with her, produce babies with her, toss her to the side. And there's so much trauma going on in the Black community, and Black women are really, on the other hand, experiencing that. And a lot of Black women are, they want to love and they want to have a healthy relationship, and they're getting into relationships with these men, these Black men that they love. And of course, they don't look at these men and see these men as, oh, he's traumatized, oh, I have to stay away from him. They just see a Black man who they're attracted to, that they love. And then people at our level, like, nobody's reaching down there to tell them, how to improve their relationships. And that group of people isn't necessarily attracted to all of the positivity that people of our level speak at. So I know, like, when I'm on Facebook and, a lot of toxic 50-50 men come on my page and they're talking crazy, and, or I see what women are going through, and I just happen to make a status to mention it, to just let them know, like, hey, your behavior actually is a problem. And then everybody's like, oh, you, Kissy, you shouldn't write stuff like that. You need to stay in the light. You need to stay at your level. But what I notice when I write those statuses, none of those toxic men pop up to type anything. And the reason they don't pop up to type anything is because the first time in their life, someone has put them in their place and told them about themselves, and they are forced to go run in a corner. Even if they go off on me, call me out my name, they later have to go in a corner and take note that, what, maybe that woman was right. Maybe I do need to change and treat women better. So what do you think about, the 50-50 men, the toxic relationships, and, nobody really speaking on that?
Okay, so just do me a favor. Just give me a quick rundown on, because I got the toxic relationship, but just give me your quick definition of a 50-50 man.
So a 50-50 man is a man who wants a woman to carry half of the load for him. Like, he wants her to work, he wants her to pay half of the bills, but at the same time, he's going to want her to cook, clean, provide sex for him, and do all these other things. And he has no understanding of a woman's true value, and that a woman's value isn't in her effort or how much work she do. It's in the nurturing she gives to him to make life better for him, so that he can go out into the world and work. Because if you go to the Bible, it says that God created Eve for Adam to keep him company, because Adam was off in the garden working and he was lonely and he needed a companion. So he created Eve to give Adam some motivation to work. But 50-50 men think that women are supposed to work as hard as them. So because they think that, the relationships are messed up, because the women are operating too much into masculine energy. We all have both masculine and feminine energy, but it has to be balanced. And a woman in a 50-50 relationship, she's tired and she's going into masculine energy. So therefore, she really doesn't have the energy to nurture a man the way he wants to be nurtured. And at the same time, the 50-50 man doesn't even understand that after a while, years, go by, he actually resents that woman because she's accepted him being half the man God called him to be. And those men later run off and they end up marrying usually some younger woman or some woman that they can fully provide for because, the nice 50-50 woman has built him up to be the man he always wanted to be in the first place. But before we even go there, I know that's kind of sad too, because we should be able to work together in relationships towards a common goal, but it backfires.
Okay, I got you. All right, man. This is a tough one. This subject is always tough because of what I believe, what I experienced, and what I also know to be a statistical fact. Right. So I'll just start with what I know. I was raised and I saw a beautiful, what you call 50-50 relationship, but there was nothing toxic about it. It was a true partnership where, and this was my mom and my dad got divorced when I was 3. Mm-hmm. But when I in elementary school, my dad ended up remarrying to an amazing woman, and they had that type of relationship until she passed away. But what I saw 2 people equally working, and however they agreed to do the finances, which he told me later on, he was like, we split half on everything, but we went half on everything because we had a goal in the end, right? So she worked. She had a job for the state. My dad ran a janitorial company in Detroit, and so they just worked. But what I saw was I saw true teamwork. So whenever my dad would come home, he would come home late because driving back and forth from Detroit to Lansing, he would come home and she would be up and she would have dinner ready for him so she could talk to him about his day. Maybe it's close to midnight, and then they both go to sleep. But so she went to work the very next morning at 9, whatever. By the time she got off for lunch, she would always come home. My dad would have lunch ready for her so they could talk about midday because he would leave from Lansing to Detroit at about like 1 o'clock. So they would have lunch. So that's what I saw. So it was always a partnership. It was like what she did a portion, he did a portion. I learned how to cook from both of them. So it was like I saw it, but I saw it as a teamwork, and nobody carried any more of the load. But my dad was still the man of the house, and she respected him, but he also respected her because I believe he saw her true value. But he was working they were working to get to a certain point because she was going to retire first and then he was going to continue working. So it was like they had a goal in mind, but at the same time, they were together. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? My dad wasn't out chasing other women. When he married her, I think he was like 43 and then she was like 40, 39 or something like that, whatever. But they were both at a point where they were ready to go to another level. And I will tell people all the time, because of my background in the financial services industry and investing, that all income levels have different standards. Would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely.
So I would say all income levels and living situations are different. So I would say that you would find majority of 50-50 situations happening with people who make under, say, $60,000 a year. That's generally where you're going to find where generally the men and the women are like, yo, we got to go half in on everything because after taxes, you kind of know what they're bringing home and it's really not that much. And let's be real about it, right? We're talking about our people. We don't like to do low budget stuff, so we always try to live more so on the top of our budget with what we dress, where we live, what we drive, and all that other stuff. So you get to a point where, I drive this car, you drive that car, then we're not living under our means. We're living right at or above over, right? So right. That's where I think those 50-50s come in. And I actually had this conversation last night. Then when you get to this is what I said to myself. I say when you get around the $200,000 range, I think that at that point, if a man is making $200,000 a year, he should step up and be a man. He should, have a conversation with, whoever he's in a relationship with or living with and saying, okay, well, I'm at the point now where I'm going to be taking care of these things and these things. And then he, as the man, he has to make the decision and say, okay, this is where we are going to afford to live because I'm taking care of everything. See, what the problem is that most of the time, I would say most men would not mind doing this, but the expectations of their partner is out of that budget range. You see what I'm saying? And I'm speaking to you as a man who I've actually held off on marriage and a family and all this other stuff because I said I want to build financial security because I want certain things for my wife and my kids. Like I in my mind, I want my kids to have all the advantages, but still have to work. But I don't want them to have to. I don't want to be, running around all day long, and then I never see them. Right? I don't want society raising my kids. I want them to see a father who laid the platform, but then they also still see me working. Right?
Right.
So, they look up. They're like, damn, I want to be just like him. My dad's a boss. Like this is what he do. My mom ain't never stressed. He makes sure we got everything we need, but I still raised him with those values. So, I pre-thought about that beforehand, which is why I waited so long, right? So it's like we talk, and I do a lot of traveling and stuff. So it's like I'm the type of man, like I'm not out here just running the streets, like 6 days, 7 days a week. Like my mind is in the booth. Like I'm like, okay, I know this is the goal. I said 37, 38 is when I was going to be ready to do this. So bro, you got to have some bread at the bank. You got to have some business popping because there's a lot of things that are going to come. But we have to get off of that level and talk about the average person because majority of what we do, and that's one of the things that I don't like about a lot of the popular podcasts, like when you listen to like the Breakfast Club and all this other stuff. Most people don't understand that a lot of the stuff that these people say, the people that have money, that stuff does not relate to the average person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and people have to understand that. So your opinions change based off of income. So a person making $100,000, their mindset is different than a person making $500,000 because $500,000 gives you more options depending on where you're living at, right? So if you're making 45 and then he's making 35, what I'm talking about ain't even real because y'all got to make sure y'all got the money for the bill. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to make sure the mortgage is ready if you even got a mortgage at this point. So that's what I always like to set the tone with that because I think in some situations, you as a man, and I said this last night, I said, as a man, I think you have to make a decision what type of man you're going to be before you decide to start, ruining these women's lives. And a lot of times that's what's happening.
Wow. So I think...
go ahead.
No, I was just saying right there, that is a really big point, but I was just wondering, like, at what point do you think would be a time in a young man's life where someone would tell him, listen, you have to decide what kind of man you're going to be and what kind of woman fits that program?
Yes, and then also I'm gonna be on the flip side because I'm on all three sides. I also think that women have to decide what type of woman you are, and then based off of those principles, whatever type of woman you are, at that point you have non-negotiables that you have to set in stone for your life and everything that you do. Right? So if you don't have non-negotiables, he don't have non-negotiables, and then technically you really can't get mad when shit just goes wrong and y'all been together and y'all ain't built nothing and you taking care of him and he on the couch playing Fortnite and you out here, you're a registered nurse out here working, 15 hours. That's your fault. It's not the truth. I tell you, the truth is at some point, and I'm going to say black people, right? Because this is the only thing, we're talking to our people, right? Mm-hmm. The whole goal is for us to up. So I'm talking to us. We got to start taking responsibility for our decisions. Bishop Bronner has a sermon that says that he said decisions without deliberation. If you continue to make decisions without taking a second to stop and deliberate and say, before I do this, is this man gonna do this? Is this man? But here's the thing: women know this. If you ask that question, women will automatically be able to tell you no. I know when this woman's not even black, but I and she was a good friend of mine. I was just talking to her. She continues to have babies by a dude that she knows is never going to marry her. And he's a 50-50 dude. And she keeps having babies by him. So let me ask you this, kid. Is it his fault or is it her fault? Now, mind you, I asked her questions she should be asking herself. I was like, well, if you know you're not going to get married, first, you already have a couple of kids. You had 2 kids by another dude. Now you're on your second kid with him. You ain't never got a ring from none of the dudes. I was like, that's my question. What the hell are you thinking about?
But see, that's the problem where I was saying, um, earlier, I don't know if I was saying it during this conversation or another conversation, but the point is when nobody speaks at that level to get people to see that, okay, man, you're supposed to do this, and woman, you're supposed to do that. How would people don't know? Like, people are coming into the world and they don't know because nobody cares to talk to that group of people. And if you're not
Mhm.
raised in a household where you're being taught, how to have a healthy relationship, you just don't
Mhm.
know. So in that case, number one, I'm always going to place most of the blame on the man because
Mhm.
a man is called to lead. But then I always make women aware that self accountability is everything,
Yeah.
and they are 100% at fault for the relationships they are in. But the thing
Mhm.
is, black women love black men, and they don't love black men for their money or anything other than they just love that man. So they
Right.
don't look at him as a provider, and the black men, a lot of them aren't taught to be a provider. So because she doesn't look at him as a provider, she's just looking at him for love. It's and it's just like, okay, that should work out, but I don't know, it's just so crazy to me, just
It is.
the
Well,
way
well,
it
well, the first,
goes.
the first thing is that you gotta love yourself, and I think if you love and you respect yourself, like this is why I always keep going back to self accountability. If
Hmm.
you love and respect yourself, there's certain shit you don't let happen. There's certain things that you just don't. So, like I say, all the conversations and consulting that I do with people, and most of the time it's women. Sometimes it's with guys where I gotta check men that are older than me about shit that they're letting their girlfriends or their wives do to them. I'm like, dude, that's why she's doing it to you, because you ain't acting like a man. You acting like a bitch. You ain't you like you won't you are like you're giving them everything because of, I get emotional about it. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
Like that's not okay. Okay, you're the man. You're the provider. You're doing this. You're doing that. And this woman is disrespecting you like I ain't never seen before. And you're okay. I said, man, you got like. I think being a consultant actually like helped me out in my own because it helps you identify things and like you speak up about it when you so. And then also, we were just talking about that before we started recording. Me and you, I was talking about communication. Communication is everything. So I think the only reason why I'm where I am today, I would say mentally, is because one part I took a very strong desire to become a better person. Right, and
Right.
it wasn't to become a better person for a woman, right? I wanted to become the best version of me. And whenever I talk to people, my boxing coach, the people that coach, they always ask me. They say, "What's the goal?" They say, "What are you here for? What's your goal?" I said, "My goal is to become the best version." And in business, what's your goal? I said to become the best version of me. That goes. That's everything. That body's everything. That's mental. That's spiritual. That's financial. It's all of that stuff, right? So the best version of you is wrapped up in all of that. So if you're spending all your time doing that, there's a lot of things that you don't have time for. And I mentioned that to somebody the other day. I said, if Grant Cardone was one of the first people I heard say this. He said, if you think about the world, that people were waking up every single day chasing their goals and dreams, and they were going after it nonstop, there would be no time for war. There would be no time for pettiness online. There will be no time for the stupid stuff because everybody like, I don't got time for this. I gotta go do this and this and this because I'm trying to do this and this and this. Oh, such and such say this. I don't care. I don't get paid for that. What happened here did not help me get close to where I got. So I gotta go. I gotta get off the phone. Right.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
that's one thing that I feel. And so the whole thing about that is that I believe that 50-50 men are toxic. I don't think so. Right. I don't think that. I think I just always go back to what I say. I think it all depends on a scenario. If you give me a scenario, an income level, and a location, I can tell you whether it's a good situation or not.
Oh,
Like when
wait.
I was talking,
I got a
go ahead.
good one, right?
Yeah.
So you were just discussing how you often have to tell some of your male clients about how they're allowing their woman to disrespect them. So And from my perspective, most men in 50-50 relationships are disrespected. And I feel like men don't realize if you're going to be in a 50-50 relationship that you're going to have to accept some backlip from your woman. But at the same time, even 50-50 men, they want their woman to be submissive to them. And it's a little difficult for a woman to be submissive to a man when she's pulling the same workload as him, because when a woman is working hard, we go over to masculine energy, and masculine energy comes with a great deal of aggression versus a woman who's being provided for. When she sits home, like she's been like lollygagging, and the maid is doing this and that, and she's been getting cute, her nails are cute. So when her man comes home and maybe he like says something crazy to her, she's just like, oh honey, how was your day, right? And she's just like so pleasant, right? But a woman who is working hard and she's in masculine energy, and her husband comes home upset and says something, it's like, who do you think you're talking to? I've been working just as hard as you. Like, and then I had to come home and cook and clean and wash dishes.
Yeah, okay. Everything you just said is 100% true. But even what you just said, you also just described two different income levels. And just one scenario without even knowing. Okay, so the first dude, first of all, the first one you were talking about, where they have the maid and all this other stuff, that's a whole different income level, right? So there's a different mindset, different income level. The other woman, that she's working 50-50, she probably was a registered nurse, and she got a good job, come home, do blah blah, and you got to cook. Of course, now she's tired. So it's almost like she's coming home and she's like, I'm taking care of myself, and I got to take care of somebody else. This ain't what I signed up for. Now, is that right? Hey, I think this is my opinion on it. I think that you get what you accept in life. And at some point, she accepted that type of 50-50 relationship. So technically, you really can't get mad, because this is nothing but a result of a decision that you made.
Wow.
If I guarantee you, if I say that in front of a bunch of women that have been through some stuff, that took care of you, or they're going to try to eat me alive, because that also goes back to not taking responsibility. You made a decision to get into a situation where you actually cohabitating with this 50-50 person, and then most of the time the man gets comfortable, he completely starts slacking. Oh, you the woman, you're supposed to be cooking this and this and that, but she's still paying half the bills, half the light bill, she's paying for her own car. And of course, after a while, maybe the attitude is gonna start coming and stuff like that. But how long did she accept that? And all that is a direct. That's a consequence of a decision that you make. Now, if from the jump, this woman just imagine this would happen. Say, you know what, babe, I really like you, right? I like you. I think me and you could do some really good things. But this is the type of woman that I am. If I live with a man, I don't feel that I should be pulling more than a certain amount of the financial responsibility. If you have that conversation before you put your name on the lease, or before you give a nigga a key, I'm telling you, it changes the game. And a man cannot get mad for you being honest. Now, I'm not saying being disrespectful, because that's a totally different thing. And I think a lot of women today really need to check themselves how they talk to men, because I don't care what the situation is. Everybody is supposed to be talked to with respect and in a certain manner. But if you come on talking about, well, let me tell you something. If me and you gonna be living together, I'm not paying bills, because they never. But you know that's how some conversations come out. And that's crazy, right? But that's no way to talk to. You wouldn't go into a business negotiation like that. If you think about that, it's a business negotiation. You're trying to close a deal that's going to be comfortable for you, that's going to make sure that all the terms have been met. So you got to say, listen, everything is fine. We're having a good time. We took a couple of vacations. This is good. The sex is good. Conversation is great. Now, you're talking about moving in together. We're talking about buying a house. We need to talk about this before we jump into it. So you can't talk about it after. It's too late.
Oh, so true. So true. But see now, Robert, what you and I are talking about is conscious communication, right?
Yes,
And
which we
people,
lack, which as a community we
right,
lack.
right. And we aren't taught conscious communication. Like I think I was about to say, and then let's just go back to the first point that you made, which was, I mean, that was such a beautiful point that you made about the woman who got upset, or the woman who gets upset that she finds herself in the 50-50 relationship. That was her decision and her choice. And at
Yeah,
what point though, and I think what you reflective on, I mean, what you just bust wide open is that yes, we could say 50-50 men are toxic and blame it on men, but ultimately what you just pointed out is that the woman is toxic herself because it's her fault that she refuses to accept her true heart's desire. And if her desire was to get a man who provides, she should have said that and stated that in the beginning of the relationship. But
yeah,
by not stating her truth, she is therefore toxic herself and entering into a relationship she know that's not her heart's desire. And of course, they always hope that the man, that they can build him up to become the man
yes.
of her
We
dreams.
yo, let me tell ladies, I hope every last one of y'all listen to me. That is the biggest mistake you can ever make in your life. It is not your job to build up a man. There's a difference between building up and building up, right? Now they're
Mm-hmm.
confused, right? So you're trying to take somebody that you think has the potential, but they ain't showing you nothing of it, right? That's now you're trying to build him up. And I'm gonna use a lower one because I know that shit ain't going nowhere. But if you got a man that's out here hustling, that's grinding, he ain't made it to that point yet, but he ain't never asked you, he ain't never trying to borrow money from you. He ain't never having you when y'all go out to dates. He's paying for the bill all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking you on vacation whenever he can. If he's taking you on vacation twice a year, so once every 2 quarters, because he's investing his money here and there and there. And as people that don't understand business, when you're in business and you're dealing with entrepreneurs, let me tell you what goes through the mind. Our money and credit has to be working for purchasing, for inventory, for payroll, and all that. So there's a lot of shit that goes through our mind before we spend money. So most of us are planners, right? Now it's different. We're not talking about the dope boy era no more. We're not talking about the fraud money. I'm talking. See, that's what I'm saying. You got to go sit. But I'm talking to women. I'm assuming that y'all are dating everyday men that are out here trying to get it. But you know what happens is most women come from dudes that used to do illegal shit, and then they come try to mess with regular guys. It's just a storm because it's a totally different lifestyle. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but
Yes.
when you were going, but now I'm going to building up like some of the women that I've dated. No woman has ever had to take care of me, even when I talk to some of my guys whenever we do speaking engagements, and I never ever had put in my speeches a lot of the when people are when I was almost homeless or I was broke. I never do that because I say as a man, I don't care what you was going through. I said being broke is immature. I don't give a damn what nobody says. I said my dad did. I'll say that to any man in his face. My dad didn't raise me to be broke. I used to work at McDonald's and Annie Ann's at the same time. I was rolling pretzels and the drive-thru. But guess what? I was broke. Nobody ever had to take. I never had to borrow money from anybody because my
Wow.
dad is.
I'm sorry. I have to institute just a little sound clap that is really good to hear. Not even just a black man. That is a beautiful thing to hear a man say. But I really want the audience to know right now that that's because you have belief and faith in yourself, and yourself
Yeah,
as a man has always been activated in you from day one.
yeah, I got it from. But let me tell you, I'll tell you something today. And what I'm telling you, what I did, I was like 19. I was like 17, 18, 19. That was like the fast food era for me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that I still have the same work ethic in me, that if everything hit the fan, I would go back and do it again to ensure that I never have somebody take care of me. If that work ethic is still inside of me today, I sell houses, I do consulting, we get big checks. If shit hit the fan and it all went down, that work ethic is still in me. I wouldn't be sitting around on the couch. Oh man, I used to make $100,000 a month. Now, nigga, you better get out and go work. That's what men do, right? But that comes in all different levels. I'm saying you can't. That's something that you can't build up. But when you have a guy that's doing that, but you and he's busy all the time, now that's the dude that you should stand behind and show your support and do those things. But the dude that you just trying to build up, you just he's around. I hate even saying that about certain industries because I don't really understand it. But most of the time, they stick behind the people that the average person will look at you like, man, this ain't gonna go nowhere. But they just rocked it out. So. But so I'm very just strong on manhood, and I just think that there's certain things that men shouldn't do. I don't think men should live with women, and they're not in position to carry, I would say, 75% of the household load. I think I say 75% at kind of like a medium, right? If you perfect situation where, listen, me and you were dating. Mm-hmm. And I'm working hard. Like, my business hasn't taken off where it's supposed to go to, but we're staying in like a decent loft or a town or even in an apartment, whatever. But I'm responsible for a certain amount of, money that I got to invest every month. I'm going to have a conversation with you and say, listen, kid, our rent is this and the utilities are only like, $250 or something like that. But the rent is like, $1,200. Listen, just for sanity, I'll make sure the rent is paid every single month. You take care of the utilities and the groceries and whatever, and I'll make sure that I'm putting money away for our trips, for our extras, for this and this and that, because I'm trying to get to a certain point. And also, I'm going to say that I feel like I'm just going on and on, but let me tell you something. I tell everybody, if you're out here dating or not dating, right? Dating is supposed to be fun. I think people miss dating, and they think that dating are relationships. Dating is just the phase. And dating can go on for a long time. Why are you still trying to figure out if this is the person that you're ready to cross that relationship status with? Let me tell you something. If you get in a relationship with somebody and y'all don't already have a definite plan before you get into a relationship, you already failed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll say that again. If you cross over and you get into a relationship with a man or woman and you guys don't even have a plan on what's the next step after the relationship, you have failed. If you haven't sat down and said, hey, babe, this is what I'm ready to do. Like, I see us going somewhere. Mm-hmm. I got you. Okay, so I'm here and I'm here. So where are we going together? That was the mistakes that I made when I was there. We was just there, and I'm being the man. Like, I'm taking care of stuff. We going on vacation, doing this and this and that. But me and my partner, we don't have a goal. We're not going in the same direction. So I'm getting frustrated as a man because I'm pulling the sled, and she's going in a different direction because we wasn't going in the same direction from the beginning. And then you waste 2 years, and then you just like, well, damn. And then you got to blame yourself. Take accountability and just say, hey, it was my fault because as a man, I should have said all this stuff beforehand. So I can't get mad at her. It's my job.
Wow. So since you think that way, your relationships from, like, let's just say, I really want to hear about your relationships when you were like a teen, when you were working at McDonald's, like, and you got the girlfriend at McDonald's. Like, I want to know how you treated her, because I'm really wanting people to see how a man who is a provider, how he starts out, and how he treats women as he goes about in life. I think that would be really dope.
Okay. All right, so that was like 16. That was like, so it was very short. Mm-hmm. So I was still in high school. So I never really count any of the stuff that happens in high school because you don't really know what was going on And, but I used to just, so I was still, like, I was just still trying to figure, I mean, I wasn't sexually active since I was 17. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell did I know about being serious? I was out of drive-through by then. Okay, so I'll just say my first serious relationship, I was a cook. I was cooking and I was serving. But I was still in high school. Nah, let's get past that. Let's get into adulthood. So my first serious relationship, I'll say it was 2007.
Uh-huh.
And actually still a woman that I literally think back there and I'm like, damn, if I was the man now, if I was then, I said we would have been married already, right? We was a perfect person. I was the
Wow.
wrong man at the time. And most men won't say that. I admit it. Right, but this was the time I was making. I had just started making over six figures. Right, so I was
Mm-hmm.
bartending. I was bartending at one of the hottest spots in Atlanta. Everybody remembers Lucky Lounge. We were killing it at this spot. So I'm serious. This was during the recession. We was making like $1,500, $2,000 a night. We was killing the game. And I was me and her. We were living together. And we traveled. I felt I treated her really well. I wanted to take her shots. She was gorgeous. I always wanted to see her dressed in nice stuff. But I still wasn't like making that much money where I could. And I was 24. So it was like I still wasn't inside my full manhood because it comes in two levels. It has to come financially and it also has to come mentally and spiritually. Like, so I wasn't mentally and spiritually where I am now. I wasn't there then. I was still just running around and I was doing stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I still wanted to provide for her. I still didn't want to see her struggle. I wanted to see her beautiful. I wanted to see her hair done. I wanted to see all these things, but I don't think I was hitting the mark like I was supposed to. But going forward, when I got, into my 30s, that's when things started changing, right? I really started being like, yo, okay, this and this, that, and this, right? So it improved over time as I learned.
That's very, very interesting. You know what? When you were talking about your job at McDonald's, like that was my first job too, at McDonald's as a teenager. I had a job at McDonald's, then I got a job at Taco Bell, and I got fired from the two McDonald's jobs for giving out free food. Um, well, no, one of them was wait. One of them I got fired for giving out free food. The other one I got fired because it was the one by my high school, and I called in and I told her that I was having, just female issues. And she told me that basically she had female issues too. Basically, we're just talking about cramps, and that she still came to work on hers. And I didn't have those kind. I had the kind where you feel like you're going to die, you'll overdose on pills and go to the emergency room because it was extremely painful. So anyways, I got fired for that. And then I working at the Taco Bell, but I'm starting to I'm sure we're going to get aware as we go through this series of just how high performers in general, how a lot of us kind of start off in life and our mindset in business and going after the things we want out of life, and how that plays into our relationships.
Right. I feel like that when you get more serious about your business and your life or your career and your life, you get more serious about the people that you allow into your life.
Yes.
I believe this. So therefore, like you said, that's why for the life of me, I can't understand, like, with some women that I know or I would talk to that are successful, but then successful and they're focused, they went to school, but then they deal with bullshit ass men. And I'm a man, and I'll tell women first, and I'm like, yo, there's a lot of bullshit ass men out here. There's a lot of bullshit ass women. How do you get caught up in that? Like, you get caught up. I'll just say this. I just think that women today don't know what their non-negotiables are. And men don't have very little standards.
Right, because
So,
the point you put out is both parties like like dating you right. If we just take dating back to when we were teenagers and it was fun and it was butterflies and we kind of fell in love, there was kind of a dating process and it was fun. But then once you get
mhm,
into adulthood, the older you get, or I guess the more serious women get due to men, not, I guess, relationships not going towards marriage, that meant that women start being taught to be serious about their dating techniques, right, and make sure they're
mhm.
marrying a provider man, because and to make sure that guy is not only provider, but that he's taking her serious and he's not playing game. And it's like, oh man, you only got like 90 days and it's like it's the
That's
whole
crazy.
thing. Right, the whole thing just changed, right? But I think we need to
Now,
discuss that. I That is deep right there.
what part? What
The
part?
part of how it goes from fun and it's really beautiful and love is a beautiful thing, to almost like love is a business when it's not a business, but love
Yeah,
is a part
they,
of your
they,
business.
yeah, they're trained. They're today. The reason why, because you have broken people teaching other people how to be broken, and that's the problem. So, and I like I said, my mom, she's in heaven now. I love her to death, but I know the things that I heard her say to my sisters when I was
Mm-hmm.
growing up, because she had such traumatic marriage. I heard it. I heard what she said about men. I heard what she
Wow.
told my sisters. They need to be looking for men and saying men ain't shit. I'm like, Mom, you got 4 men. But
Ooh.
no, seriously. Like, let me
Wow.
tell you, my mom was great, but my mom was hurt. I didn't
Right.
learn her full story until maybe a year before she passed away. I didn't realize she was harboring 40 years worth of pain and molestation and abuse and all. She was harboring all this stuff her entire life. And she
Right.
finally opened up to me before she passed away, because I would get home from bartending, and this was like a rough part, because I'm trying to be in a good relationship. I'm working my ass off, and I got a mom that's dying, and I would get off of work and then drive 30 miles to go see her at like 2:30 in the morning to make sure, like, Mom, everything cool, and I haven't been home in a couple of days straight, and drop her off some cash because I had a good night, and then now I got to go over to my girlfriend's house to be with her. And I would just go, and sometimes I would just sit there. I would lay on the floor and just talk to her for a couple hours. I was like, Mom, you been up the whole time? And she's like, yeah, I'm up. I was just thinking about, this, and she opened up and told me about how she had been molested by one of my uncles and this and that. I'm just like, God damn. But she was carrying it, but now I understand. I don't
Wow.
feel any type of way about any of the stuff that I heard her say, or some of the things she said to me, because as a man, I understand where it came from. It wasn't her fault. She had nobody. There was back then. There was no ways to really, go. Counseling wasn't, big back in the day. That black people, we try to keep everything to ourselves, and she bottled it all up in her book. In return, she was an independent woman. She never
Mm-hmm.
relied on a man. She was, became very successful at what she did, and to the day she died, she didn't let nobody take care of her. Right? That's just how. But that's what drove her to do it. But in return, I see what happened with my sisters and how they went through relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a tornado. But it was all because of that. So you have a lot of women that are being raised. I don't think any woman that was with a good man, that was with them, raised kids and all this other stuff, would ever tell them to the negative stuff that I hear. Well, like, the man got to be this. No, because the man is right there, because he's a man, and he's telling you, well, listen, baby, this is what you got to understand. You got to be careful about this. This is what you need to expect from a man. Because the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is that I think it's funny that women are telling women what they should expect, what what a man should be, rather than actually asking them, getting it from a man that is the man, that what they're telling them what they should be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy.
It is crazy, but at the same time, men, just like a lot of women, don't know what they looking for. A lot of
Oh yeah.
men don't know what they looking for. So some
Because
people, the
let me
genesis,
tell you something.
right?
No, I'm sorry, but let me tell you something. What the problem with women? I've been saying this for years. Women have always been in control, but you guys give your control up too easy.
True.
Men move mountains. for that thing that y'all sit on every single day. Like, I'm just gonna be real. We move, we move mountains. We go to the gym. Niggas is squatting 800 pounds. Deadlifting 650 pounds.
Pressing.
Muscle biceps. Buying 15-bedroom houses, and it's just them. They not doing it to impress me.
Right.
Dudes are going to the strip club throwing millions of dollars, not to impress other dudes. They want attention from who? They want the attention from that thing that y'all sit on every single day. And then women go back to the days where y'all take that so seriously that you don't give it away to nobody. Y'all can change the world, man. Go back to the days where the dude got to come and pick you up, and he got to get his ass out the car and come and knock on the door and introduce himself to everybody in the house before he goes out with you. And then you make him take him on 5 or 6 or 7 dates before he even get to touch you.
That's making dating fun again.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But we live in a completely different world. And before I forget this, I want to say I want you to give me your opinion on this, because I think that the women that are looking for the alpha provider, I also think there's a danger behind that. And I want you to just tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
I think in the world today, if you get a man that's successful and he does everything he's supposed to do, he becomes this and he becomes that, and he's holding everything down. Mind you, when you get a guy like that, this is probably generally a medium profile to high profile individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he chooses to be with you. Y'all are living together. Maybe y'all had a kid. I think those men have the highest probability to be unfaithful and disrespectful to the woman that they're providing for. I believe that wholeheartedly, especially the men that aren't spiritually grounded. But then even the ones that are spiritually grounded, they're so weak that y'all women are powerful, man. Y'all can make somebody that's focused. Y'all can completely shatter their focus with a sundress and a good conversation. It will happen.
Amen.
So my whole thing is, I've always told women, I say, when you get that man and you have that type, what do you do, or how do you feel, or what do you think the probability is of that man never stepping out on you, which is normally what shatters the entire situation? What do you think?
I think there is a very high chance that a man is going to step out if he has, everything being thrown at him. But at the same time, men who are not providers, most of the genre we're talking about still believes that they need multiple women because they're taught that they need multiple women. So it really doesn't matter at what level. It's just, even still, like, people have to be, a man has to be taught to value a relationship. So
yeah, man, kids. Okay, it's a funny thing you said that, and I'm gonna be brief with it. There's a new show on Netflix. I forgot what it's called. It's not coming right now, but it's about a jail in, I think it's Chicago or New York, where men and women are real close, and they communicate to each other through the toilet. So they drain the toilets and they can talk through the pipes. It's dudes that's in jail that's in relationships with multiple women in the fucking cell block, and they send them pictures and stuff through the toilet. I'm like, these niggas ain't even free, and they cheat.
They can't be faithful locked down. They need abundance.
Let me tell you something. I watched all the drama because I said, we in trouble. So my closing on it is that I actually, after everything I saw that I went through, I would suggest this to me. Every single man that has not hit 30 years old yet, I say, I don't believe that you should get into a serious relationship until you go through certain things in life. And then once you get to a point where you kind of know, you not kind of, but you know who you are as a man. But then I also think that men need to start their spiritual journey early. I think they should start
Yes.
doing self discovery early. I think they should travel early and really start discovering things so you can get an idea of who you are before you come in and destroy one of these women's lives and just keep all this shit going. Because that's what happens. And I was talking to somebody, they said the other day, like, well, who I was at 20 and who I was at 30 and then who I was at 40. And I'm like, okay, so let me ask you this. So what's the point of you saying, well, if this man had did this and this and this and he did everything right, that you would have got married? You're still saying that everything would change. And the one thing that I always tell people, I say, you got to stop making the mistake of thinking you're going to find a person that's perfect through all things. That you have to find a person the point of, I believe, marriage and long lasting relationship is somebody that you grow with. Everybody's like, oh, we just grew apart. That's what natural. That's the work is to grow together, and it all goes because people get married that don't have the same plan, or people get into this relationship that don't have the same plan. Like, you can be successful, I can be the same, I can be successful, but me and you ain't going in the same direction. Our goal isn't to do this and do this and do this and retire at this age. So therefore, you really don't have time for problems. You're working on your business, I'm working on mine, I'm helping you where you need help, you help me, but we're working together. People don't do that. They just get married because it's just the cool thing to do. And I really think that's what happened. And then now you got women, that's raising kids by themselves, and that's a whole nother conversation, because I feel like the men get off easy because y'all get mad and like, I can take care of them by myself, and then you give them a license to be weekend daddies, and that's exactly what you had. Weekend daddies are not daddies at all, and then now it just builds up bitterness. But then you're still a woman, and you still want to be with somebody, so now you gotta go find another dude that now you truly come with. It's a package deal. It's 3 for 1.
Wow.
It ain't not 2 for 1. It's 3 for 1, 4 for 1. Hey, I dated a 4 for 1 time. You know what I'm saying? And
so wait, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but so you guys really do like take into account when a woman does have multiple kids. You really do take into account, like, okay, that's a kid, and then another man on the other side of that.
Yeah, man. If you're an intelligent man, yeah, you should. You got to come on the beginning, because now you know. Now and then you have to really find out the relationship between the mother and the dad and the kid and the dad, because that's a whole other episode. But those are a lot of variables. So like when you date women that have kids, there's a lot more that you need to know rather than she's sexy and she's a good mother. Man, you gotta understand, it's not, you might be stepping into a situation where it's required of you to be a father. Like, it's different. Like, if you can be a role model or somebody that they see, but they have a father they talk to every single day and they see all the time. That's totally different than a kid that they ain't seen their dad. They don't know who they are. It's a different situation. They looking at you as the dad. It's different.
Woo.
So that I guess you said, woo, that's a whole nother episode.
Because for the first time, I could feel like the man, how it was like a heavy, like how some of them could feel, okay, that's a heavy responsibility to take on. And when a man does take on that responsibility, like, it would seem like he was really like in love with the woman, or I guess like.
Let me tell you something. If a man that steps, and this ain't from me, this came from T.K. Kirkland. He said a man that steps in and takes the responsibility to raise another man's child is a special motherfucker. And that is the truth, because that it really is like this. So it's like me and you were just talking about communication, and I think I said something that kind of made you say, well, why is it really like sometimes like. Men, there's a lot of stuff that I want to say the level of men that women are saying that they want to date. Those type of men, we really got to take a deep breath and think and say, yo, am I ready for this? Not just am I ready to be a man, or I'm ready to be her man, or I'm ready to make this. am I ready for this? Because, today on average, most women that you meet, that you start dating, they have at least 2 kids, not one, at least 2. Like, I'm 35. We're all around the same age. Dude, women are in their 20s with 3 kids, and they're fine. You'll never know. You go out and think, oh yeah, then you find out they got 4 kids. You're like, what the fuck? How? You know what I mean?
How did you what happened again?
You say, wait, what? And you looking at their bodies and you like, no way.
So that means women, especially you young women listening right now, like you need to really be hearing this and make sure that you are aware of what you're getting yourself into when you date men. So it's like, have fun, have a good time, but don't get yourself in a situation where you're having multiple kids by a man who doesn't want to be with you and hasn't shown you he wants to be with you by committing to you. Because right now you're really hearing from a man's perspective how it's all being viewed, and then what you're up against when you're out here in the world and you feel like, yeah, I have multiple kids, but I'm still looking good. It's like, yeah, you can still find a new man, but just be aware of the other perspective and how it all plays out so you can understand the game that you're in, which is chess.
And I mean, even just thinking recently, there was somebody that I was dating that I was like, man, this would be an awesome situation. Like, she was beautiful. We had a good time, everything. But then it was a couple of factors about her that could have been, that honestly, there really weren't even a factor. I was just kind of like, everybody's got their thing. But the situation with the kids, and I was like, I feel like because of where I am right now in life, this would be too much drama for me, and it would take my attention or focus off of what I'm doing, and I'm on a path where everything I'm going too good, and I can't bring anything in that's going to interrupt it. So it's either if you come in here, you're either adding value or you're not there at all. And so I had to make a decision where I was just like, this situation, it's not the best for me at this moment. And I'm not even get deep into it because, they don't listen. They're like, oh, that's why we stopped talking? There was no fight. There was no nothing. I just kind of let it fizz off because I was just like, nah, man. I was like, I ain't ready for that. There's drama on this level. There's drama on the other level. And I was like, nah. I was just like, nope. I was like, so you can have a situation where a man like me would be like, nah, like, I could, you just have to step away from it. Like, so you don't want to end up in no situation. And like, these like, this is like, after the 35 and 40 range, like, this is what men are looking, this is what the dating pool is like. Like, when they look at me, whenever we date, they're like, you don't have no kids? They look at me like there's something wrong with me. I mean, all because I take that.
You don't wait. You don't have any kids, Robert?
No, I have no kids.
Oh wow! So how old are you again with no kids?
35.
Oh, 35. If we had a hotline number right now, it would be blowing up.
No, listen, and so one of a very very attractive very sweet woman that I'm interested in. I was talking to her the other day, and she asked me. She was like, she has a son, and we just chatting, and she was like, why do you have kids? Because I'm always making like comments about the kids, But I told her, I said, there's 2 things that I take very seriously, especially when it comes to that. I said, marriage, because of what I saw growing up, and it's like, I'm not scared of it. I just know that I only want to do it one time, and I'll go through certain stages to see if this is the partner that I feel like that I can grow with and be with and go through a lot of things with in life. And that, when you look through that makes you look at a relationship a lot different. So you ain't necessarily looking at physical, you're looking at a lot of emotional factors, because like, dude, you can change. In 2 to 3 months, your physical can change for the best or the worst. It don't really matter. But it's all about the internal thing. And then also the kids thing, because I remember one a lady that I dated, she really wanted to have kids. And I said, look, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was like, she would have been a great mom and all that other stuff. I said, let me tell you something. I was like, are you prepared for this? I was like, because if we have kids and it quote unquote doesn't work out, I was like, are you okay for the next 18 years of us having a house together and me living in the basement and you living upstairs? I was like, because there will not be a day that my kid goes to sleep and wakes up and I'm not there. I said that and I was serious about it. Like, that's how serious I am about it. So if you're not ready for that, don't talk to me about kids.
Oh, go, Robert.
And so they say, I keep getting, you'd be surprised at stuff that women say to me. Oh, you don't want to wait too late. Okay, great. So I'm going to go speed up the whole process and go get somebody knocked up and then end up in the scenario that I don't want to be in. I said, if it's meant for me, then it's going to happen. If it's in God's will, it's going to happen no matter what anybody says. And I believe that. So I just kind of go every single day with my mind open, my heart open, and just like, we'll see what's going on. But I take that very seriously.
So what do you think of the perspective? So it's like you said that, let me just make sure I heard you correct. You said that when it comes to relationships, that your thing is when you marry a woman and have a kid with her, you want to be there for the kid. So you've gone your dating life like that, and because you don't want the divorce at the end, you want it to be forever, which is basically why you haven't got married yet. So what if someone were to say, well, what if you just picked a person and decided that this is the person I'm going to work things with life throughout. We're going to figure out, I'm going to get along with this person and we're going to accomplish our dreams together. What would you say for the people who say, the older you get, the more must be wrong with you because you haven't got married? Like, what do you think of that perspective? Because basically, that's basically what a lot of people do. And then they think everybody else should do that.
This is what I do, kid. This is very strong, and I hope everybody listens to it. I don't take advice from anybody on the subject that I wouldn't trade places.
Right.
If you're telling me something, and you telling me that I shouldn't wait too long, and you got 2 kids, and ain't none of their daddies around, I'm not listening to you. I don't feel bad. I ain't. Everybody that says that it normally isn't in a situation that is ideal. The thing is that they've accepted their situation, and anybody else, it becomes so normal. You understand? Like cheating today is so normal that when you be like, I broke up with him because he cheated. I look at women, I'm like, damn, that's all they did was cheating.
That's it?
And what's messed up is I've actually said that to people. I'm like, that's all he did? I'm like, so that's what I think. That's what they call it's like single shaming or shaming because you haven't gotten married. I think people should stop doing that because a lot of people do take that type of peer pressure. I'm just not one of them. I'll be at places and everybody's married. And I'm watching I've just literally seen like crushes and girls that I've dated go in the air, but they're married, have kids, and a lot of them, they don't look happy. And I'm just like, well, I'm glad that shit wasn't me.
Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh. So a lot of women, when they feel like, oh, man, he didn't want to be with me, so I'm just going to run off and marry any man right quick, and that's going to make him jealous. So it actually doesn't make the man jealous.
No, hell no. I think if you're, everybody listening, I don't ever want to come across as cocky and perfect and this. No, man, I think what we'll do is y'all gonna hear a lot of stupid shit that I've done, the trauma that I've done. I've been through a lot of shit, right? All that stuff has just built me up to a person that is strong and that's in tune with itself. Mm-hmm. So everything I'm saying to you, I'm just saying like this is how I operate off of this every single day. How the hell was I at the gym the other day? My boxing trainer, I was giving He was asking me questions, but I'm supposed to be hitting the bag because I'm giving him advice like I'm talking, like I'm doing on the podcast because I'm so in my mind, I'm so straightforward thinking, and my decisions are already made about things that I want. That there's no compromise in it. So you ask me something. Well, why do you do what? Why do you do what? Do because I'm trying to do this and this and that. And the only way to do this is to. Well, I'll tell them I know myself so well. The reason why I'm paying these expensive ass private sessions because I know if I stayed at my $10 gym a month, I know that I would have taken that $10 for granted. So I signed up for your $150 a month gym, and now I'm taking five privates with you for $490. And what that's going to do is it's going to say, Rock, you paid all this damn money, you better get your ass in shape. That's why I'm doing it. So I know exactly why I'm doing it. It's not because it's not like I need it. But I know that this is going to push me to get to where I want to get to physically. So I'm forcing myself. And money moves me. Like if I'm paying for something, I made a financial commitment. I'm showing up to this gym every day. I'm getting up at 6:30. I ain't really that motivated to get up and go to Planet Fitness because it's only $10 and they're $20 a day. They ain't going nowhere. I can get there whenever I want to. So I mentally know that about myself. So I made those adjustments to get to where I need to get to. And that's just everybody's not like that. There's people that go to these cheap gyms and they in super shape. I just know I need to be pushed in these areas because I don't necessarily like to work out like that, but I'm starting to like.
Right. And I what I heard you mostly say though is that you invest in what's important to you, and since fitness is important to you, you invest in a gym, memberships, and trainers so that you actually stay focused on it.
Yep, and I have, we haven't, and this is what's gonna be in the book, but like my product line that's coming out is invest. It's one word, and it's the one word that will change your life. Any question you have about anything that you want to change, it's invest. Oh my man, I want to do this. What do I need to do? Invest. Now, what you invest breaks down to many different things. You're either going to invest time. You're going to invest money. You're going to invest some type of resource to change something. Man, I'm having problems in my relationship and this and this and that. What do I need to do? You need to invest. Invest what? Invest time into learning about communication and how you're going to fix it.
Oh, mic drop. We need a mic drop.
Listen. I go in because every time I invest, and invest it's a commitment of something of value. So if you pay $5,000, for a pair of shoes, and somebody steps on it, you about ready to kill. But if somebody steps on my work shoes, I ain't even gonna know that they stepped on it. You see what I'm saying? If you invest all the money that you have in a business, let me tell you something. You are not oversleeping, boo-boo. You are not going to bed. You up bright early every morning because you put everything you had into this and it's got to work. People today don't want to invest anything. They just want everything to come. And
ladies, he just said, I shouldn't say this, but I just want to, so we don't miss this. He said, men invest in what they love, what's important to them, and that when you're not fully invested in your business, you just waiting on everything to come to you. Oh,
that's true. You invest $99 into one of these multi-level marketing companies. Trust me, you're gonna take it that serious. Invest $100,000. Invest $100,000 into a franchise and see if you ain't there an hour early for every training session.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Like if you are an investor right now, Robert is really putting it down. Make sure you're following him. And ladies, you can't force a man to value you. Some of these things that Robert is mentioning about men's thought process is sitting right there in the book. You can't force a man to value you. Head over to Amazon and get it.
That's right. Great book. You guys gotta go get it. And you guys will be out soon. I'm pushing to get it done. It's entitled My Unique Approach to Success. It's coming, and it's gonna be full of all this content. And and the whole point. So I think it's what everybody needs to understand about what we're doing. This isn't entertainment. We really want to change the culture. And the only way I know to change is to be straight up forward and don't sugarcoat anything. Because that's the way my dad raised me. And to this day, I said, Dad, thank you. Because he is baby. He said, look, this is what it is. This is what you got to do. Stop bitching and do it. Okay? Hey, that's what gets you through it. So, and so what are we going to call? We're going to close this
out. How we're going to close this out? You know what? This
was a good one.
We're not even going to close this out, Robert. We're going to say that this is part 1. This is obviously a series. And yeah, we're going to do, what do you think of doing part 2 of this, Robert?
Honestly, I told you, I was like, it ain't enough to talk about this because there's layers to this thing. But I believe we should do this will probably go like part 5. And I think we just got to break down the different layers of the entire thing of whether you want to be a 50-50 woman or you want to attract a man that you want to provide for you. And, there's levels to it. But either way, ladies, if you want a man like that, what I tell you, what you have to invest in yourself, oh yeah, you got to invest in yourself heavy. You think it's just going to be easy because you cute and you put club that on jacuzzi flops and y'all work? No, it don't work like that.
Right.
You got to be intellectual. You got to be able to hold a conversation. You got to be educated. You got to have something going for you. You got to have something that these men are like, yo, I can't even. With all the money that I have, I couldn't buy that if I tried.
Oh, ladies,
that's where true value comes in.
Robert is telling you, men of Robert's caliber want a woman who has something going on in her brain.
Yo, I'm telling you, you need it. It's mandatory. Other than that, ask yourself this: what value do you bring to somebody to keep you around?
Oh, let's end there.
What value do you have for somebody to respect you? I think that's more important than anything else. Because once respect is gone, I don't care if the man provides for you. Now you're just a piece on the chessboard. He's just moving you around because he's running shit.
Oh,
dude, that's nuts. That's the thing. Do you want to be provided for? Do you want to be respected? Which one is it? Because some women are okay with just making sure that they got allowance or budget and they living nice. They don't care what the guy does. So you got to decide what type of woman you are. Some women don't care that they men got women on the side or multiple women on the side. They're just like, just don't bring it home. So what type of person are you?
Whew, that is really good right there, Robert. So
this is a real deal. That's 2020.
Like Robert said, we're gonna do at least a 5-part series on this. So everyone, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Kissy Denise, the YouTube channel, and we're going to add some more stuff later. Just make sure that you are here, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. We will talk to you later. Bye.
See you guys.